Hello, welcome to the Daily Bible Podcast. My name is William Hemsworth, and thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. And we're continuing on in Matthew chapter 21 today. We are going to look at Matthew chapter 21, verses 18 through 20. Those verses say, "Early in the morning, as Jesus was on his way back to the city, he was hungry. Seeing a fig tree by the road, he went up to it, but found nothing on it except leaves. Then he said to it, 'May you never bear fruit again.' Immediately the tree withered. When the disciples saw this, they were amazed. 'How did the fig tree wither so quickly?' they asked." There's much more to this story than what appears on the surface. On the surface, it seems like Jesus is just destroying this tree because it has no fruit. It was kind of it kind of is what it is. It's how it sounds. But we have to dig deeper. In the synoptic, in Mark, we get a little bit further explanation. In Mark chapter 11, Mark's gospel says that the figs were not in season. It wasn't the season for figs. And so that makes the explanation of these verses less obvious. Jesus didn't destroy this just because there was no fruit on it. We got to dig a little deeper. You see, sitting under a fig tree was a very popular, a very common Old Testament image depicting Israel enjoying freedom, prosperity, things like that. And some verses that describe that are Zechariah 3:10, 1 Kings 4:25, Isaiah 36:16. So when we see it in this context, this is kind of a judgment on Israel. There was this withered fig tree that Jesus does, he commands us to be withered. He's talking about Israel's coming destruction. And of course that destruction would come in AD 70 when the Israelites tried to revolt against the Roman occupation, and the Roman army squashed them, destroyed the temple. So this happened just a few decades right after this. Now in verse 20 we read, the disciples were amazed. How did the fig tree wither so quickly? And in verse 19, Matthew describes the tree as immediately withered. Now Mark, again, going into Mark, because the synoptics talk about the same event but from different perspectives. Mark describes this happening as over a 2-day period. So it wasn't like in seconds it went away, but in the context of time, it was immediate. It was very fast. So just a summary, this is just a culmination, if you will, of the coming judgment on Israel, and there's more to it than meets the eye when we just do a surface reading of the text. Anyway, God bless you all. Thank you for joining me in this episode of the Daily Bible Podcast. And catch you tomorrow, and check out my website at williamhemsworth.com. God bless you all, and have a great day.